Jordan Peterson is a fun guy. He's a professor of psychology at the University of Toronto, though I know he took a leave of absence from there, so I'm not sure if he's going to go back and teach again, but he's also a clinical psychologist, a public speaker, and has been essentially everywhere the past 6 months. He's been on shows in the US, in Canada, in the UK, everywhere. And he's been getting more engaged in current political discussions. And he really hates the postmodern neo-Marxists. I just hate the postmodern neo-Marxists. They're the worst. But he was on Jim Jefferies' show, and they didn't talk about that. But Jim Jefferies did ask him about the discussion right now around if you bake wedding cakes for a living, should you be forced to bake a gay wedding cake for a gay couple? And this clip is about 40 seconds long, and it has an interesting progression. Watch.
Making people bake a cake for a gay wedding.
Making them do it?
Yeah.
I don't think that's a very good idea.
But here's the argument. So should they be able to deny making a cake for a black couple if they don't like black people?
Allowed to? Probably. That doesn't mean it's right.
Okay, so then we had the civil rights movement where they said black people, you had to serve them in your restaurants and stuff like that. And it did work and it did make our society better. But would you argue that that still wasn't right?
No, that was right.
Why is that different to now if you didn't want to make a cake for black people?
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not different.
Yeah.
Maybe I was wrong about that.
Maybe I was wrong about that. And I blame the postmodern neo-Marxists. I'm not even sure if that impression sounds like him. I don't think it does, but I like doing it. Now, before I get into this clip, I want to give a shout out to Peter Norway, who goes by Classical Liberal with a 3 instead of an E on Twitter. He's the one that shared this clip around, and it blew up. And for good reason. Jordan Peterson changed his mind in 40 seconds. Now, I should give some credit here to Peterson as well, because he acknowledged it. He understood a fairly basic argument of morality and was able to recognize that, hey, you're right. Maybe since we don't discriminate against black people, or that we can't, we also shouldn't be able to discriminate against gay couples. I think this is a fairly basic argument, but I guess it's hard for some people until they actually hear it. Now, while this is basic, this is simple, there are people out there that will think, oh, but you can ban people who are dicks from your store. What if somebody comes in and starts yelling and making a ruckus? You can kick them out. Yeah, because they weren't born that way. That's learned behavior. So when you are born black or born gay, you can't really help that. So to be able to discriminate against people because of the way they were born, how is that defendable? How is that right whatsoever? So this is just, human decency. This isn't that tough to understand. Just be a decent person. Like, the people not wanting to bake the cake in this situation, they're the assholes. It's not that hard to just open your heart, open your mind, and understand that we're all the same. But I guess it's hard for some people. Some people think it's better to have the freedom to be an asshole than to just be kind. Just do what you normally do. Bake cakes and bake them for people that you may not know as well. Maybe you don't have a lot of gay friends, but here's a gay couple. They're two people. They're not disruptive. They're normal people. And you don't want to bake them a cake. Okay. Now, this is also, so Peterson's first reaction to this is sadly predictable. So Peterson is on the side of people like Dave Rubin, who have also argued the same thing. And Dave Rubin is gay. Not that that should matter in the argument, but he's gay and he thinks it's okay for people to discriminate gay couples based on the fact that they're gay. And his argument is that, well, if a Jewish person is told to draw propaganda for Nazis, well, you can't expect them to do that, can you? No, because you're not born a Nazi. This shit is so basic. Like, I don't feel like a smart person. I wish I was coming here and telling you some ancient wisdom. This is human decency. This is how much easier can it get? Just be good to people. We're all the same. So yes, if somebody comes into your store and starts knocking shit around, yes, you can kick them out because they're being a dick. But if they walk in and they're gay or they're black and you want to kick them out because they're gay or they're black, those are innate qualities. They can't help that. If you're an asshole, you can change your behavior. So just understand here that Peterson may sound like a smart guy, but if you actually sit down and try to break down his arguments, or at least hear the other side, the arguments against him, you may realize that Jordan Peterson, while he may sound intelligent, is not all that smart.